Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having water and I'll be reviewing Hooked by Emily McIntire. I was really excited to read this. It's a physical book off my TBR, so I was happy to get a book off my TBR read, but I've replaced it a million times over since then, so it didn't do anything. I had a little time in between my arcs and I was happy that I could fit this in between because I hear so much about it on TikTok. I was like, it's time. It is time. These are the tropes and these are the content warnings. I'm giving this 4 stars, and I know this is a book talk book that everyone loves, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. It was definitely worth the hype, and I did enjoy reading it. So what's this book about? Well, this book is about Wendy, who's moved to a new town with her younger brother and is just trying to get settled. She works part-time at a coffee shop and she is doing her best to make friends. So much so, she goes to a bar one night when she's not really in the mood to, because she just wants to make friends and get to know the locals. So she goes to the bar and she is having as fun of a time as she can expect when she bumps into this mysterious dark stranger, and the connection is instantaneous, or at least the attraction is. However, even though they chat a little bit, she doesn't get his number. She leaves that night with no expectation of seeing him until the next day when he walks into the coffee shop. It is then that James actually asks her out on a date, and she accepts. But little does she know is that James is actually in charge of a criminal organization in the underground of this area, and is in fact known as Hook. And what she thought was a chance meeting was in some way orchestrated by Hook, James, to meet her and forge a connection because he wants to use her to get revenge against her father due to their past family connection. So while he's trying to carry out his mission of revenge against Wendy's father, he is also trying to fight his attraction to her, and it's hot. The connection between these two is spicy and hot. But then he starts to hear rumblings within his own organization of a new player in town who's trying to destroy Hook and his organization, and Hook's not going to stand for that. So on top of his mission for revenge, he now has to track down who this person is so that he can eliminate them, and he doesn't mind getting bloody. But he starts to wonder, what would Wendy think if she knew the hands that caress her were covered in the blood of his enemies? So what are my thoughts on this book? Well, again, I'm giving it 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. Now, this is not a Peter Pan retelling, but she takes a lot of inspiration from the story, the characters, the motifs, subtle nods to it, and it was all so well done in this book, and I really enjoyed seeing these characters done not necessarily in a new light, but an enhanced light. Like, characters who were not good in the story, Peter Pan story, are still not good in this story, but they're enhanced in a different way, and I loved it. And I loved how she didn't try to redeem Hook. He is very much an unhinged character, especially when it comes to his businesses, but he's possessive and protective of Wendy and is just obsessed with her, and I loved it. Now, for Wendy, our female main character, she is definitely more docile and innocent, but that's due in part of how she was raised, very extremely sheltered, constantly seeking approval from her father, especially because she is in fact raising her brother for the most part, who is ignored by their father, and she just feels guilty about that, and she's just constantly seeking her father's approval. Now, I will say Wendy was not always my favorite character to read, but she was very endearing, and I did enjoy her, especially as the story went on. As she started to grow and gain in strength and confidence, a lot of that was due to her relationship with Hook actually listening to her, encouraging her. She just felt more empowered to be a stronger person. And you see this especially at the end when she steps up in a big way and makes a big boss move. I'm not going to give it away, but it was definitely one for the books. Now, as I mentioned, the chemistry between the two of them was really well done. I really enjoyed it, and I believed it. There was spice in this book. Not a lot of spice, or as much as I would like there to have been, but the spice that was there was enjoyable. The plot for this book was really enjoyable as well. It was perfectly paced. I kept turning the pages. It was a very well done book, and there were even a couple surprises in it that I didn't see coming, which is I'm always happy to have, because as an experienced reader, I don't get surprised often. So when I get surprised, that's amazing, and that just makes the book that much more enjoyable. Now, this book is currently available, so you don't have to wait. Go give it a read, go give it a download, do whatever you gotta do to get this book in your hands. You will not regret it. I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.